There are basically 5 pieces of recognizable recurring imagery from ancient Egypt. The pyramids, the Sphinx, the Pharaoh's death mask, the Ankh, and the Eye of Ra. Only one of those feels like it really needs further explanation. The pyramids and the Sphinx are huge and rad, the death mask is glamorous and we found like a million of them, and the Ankh is a symbol of life and death that shows up near basically every god and pharaoh ever. But why is the Eye of Ra such a big deal? The sun disk of Ra shows up pretty frequently, and that makes sense because he's a sun god, but why his eye specifically? Well, turns out there's actually a myth about this. Crazy, right? See, back in the old days, the Egyptian gods were sort of mortal. Like they were gods, but they had mortal forms, meaning they could age and theoretically die. And in these days, the sun god Ra was the big man in charge. But over the centuries, Ra started getting old. More specifically, he started going senile. He was still head god, but the mortal population stopped respecting him so much, mostly because he was acting, senile. Osiris tries to help him, but Ra is the king god, and he kinda refuses to listen to anybody, and meanwhile, also forgets to tend the world he's supposed to be ruling. Humanity suffers and stops worshipping Ra as a result. Ra doesn't notice at first, but eventually he catches wind of the fact that he's lost the respect of humanity, mostly because as a result of the loss of his temples and his worship, he has lost most of his godly power. So he gets really pissy, but because he's, powerless, he can't really do anything about it. So he goes to his dad, this primordial being named Nun that's basically the vastness of space, which, fun fact, the Egyptians thought of as a giant ocean. So he asks his father for advice on how to take revenge. Nun tells him to sit on his throne and take out his eye, so he does, and the eye immediately transforms into a terrifying lion goddess bent on ravaging humanity for the crime of disrespecting her dad. So Ra names her Sekhmet and sends her on her way to do the vengeance thing. So Sekhmet starts ripping humanity a collective new one, which kind of freaks out the other gods, so Osiris and friends go to Ra and ask him to make her stop. Ra feels kind of bad, so he asks Sekhmet to dial back the murder a little, and Sekhmet's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know my illustrious father was such a giant baby," and continues murdering everybody. So Ra decides he has to put a stop to this, and assembles the surviving humans along with the other gods, and together they assemble a plan. So they make this potion that's basically 90% booze, 10% human blood, and leave it out for Sekhmet, who drinks all of it and then passes out. While she's asleep, Ra pulls out some of her godly essence and weaves it into a new goddess, either Bast or Hathor, sources kind of vary on this one. So when Sekhmet wakes up, she's kind of different on account of missing a chunk of her essence, and she's still a terrifying war goddess, but she's kind of been mellowed into only fighting and killing for the sake of protecting stuff, rather than just raw funsies. Everyone has a laugh, and Ra decides it's probably time to retire from the mortal lifestyle, abandoning his quasi-mortality and retiring to his sunboat forever, subsequently paving the way for Osiris to take the throne, which, as we all know, worked out great.
She'll only come out at night, the lean and hungry type. Nothing is new, I've seen her here before. Watching and waiting, ooh, she's sitting with you, but her eyes are on the door. Oh, here she comes, watch out boys, she'll chew you up. Oh, here she comes, she's a man-eater. Oh, here she comes, watch out boys, she'll chew you up. Oh, here she comes, she's a man-eater.